Welcome to Sunday Stories. I'm Michael Sanford. Over the next hour, we'll be sharing stories that celebrate the rich history, amazing people, and fascinating places throughout our region and beyond. Are you happy? We certainly hope you are, as does the United Nations General Assembly. In 2011, the General Assembly recognized happiness as a fundamental human goal, and a year later decreed March 20th each year as the International Day of Happiness. Our lead story introduces us to Edwin Edebri, who believes that happiness is a skill and can be taught.
In 2009, Edwin launched the I Am Happy Project, an organization that focuses on spreading the art of happiness. His strategy: create monthly I Am Happy meetup events, along with school presentations, festivals, happy journals, dancing, laughing yoga, creating, and all things happy.
So what if we look at happiness as a skill? So what we start to understand is this: if we move it just from pure emotion and say, okay, these are skills you can learn now. And even if you have to take baby steps, you can become good at it if you put the time and the effort, and if somebody come in and mentor you and coach you.
Learning to be happy, later on Sunday Stories. In our profile story today, Rob Stewart sits down with Betty Williams. Betty talks about her life and shares how her experiences and passion have led her to become the leader of multiple civil rights organizations, including president of the Greater Sacramento NAACP.
A longtime stalwart for civil rights, Betty has also served as the leader of the American Civil Liberties Union, the first African American to head the ACLU in the Capital Region.
We're change agents. And that's what we should be doing, making change for the entire community.
And you're working at a 30,000 foot level with your feet on the ground. You know, it's like you have the big picture and you're doing the work.
Mm-hmm. If I have the voice, if I'm being empowered to be at the table that will help my community, then that's where I want to be.
More of Betty's work later on Sunday Stories. Whether it's to celebrate, to say I love you, or an attempt to say I'm sorry, flowers have been a great way for people to share their feelings with the people in their lives. Opened in 1946, Relles Florist is a multi-generational family business. We'll take a peek inside this longtime Sacramento enterprise to see what it takes to help people express their feelings through flowers.
Hi, Jim.
Okay.
Thank you
very
very
good.
much.
You only have one chance, and you don't want to screw it up.
It's a team effort between Jim's family and their staff. Orders are taken.
Thank you for calling Relles Florist. This is Ben.
Flowers are processed. Bouquets are assembled. And deliveries go out.
We have a real core bunch of people that have been with us for a long time. They're very important to running this business.
The business of family and flowers, ahead on Sunday Stories. If you've ever driven to Tahoe or Reno when it's snowing, you've seen the snowplows that clear the roadways. But have you ever wondered what it takes to keep the snow off railroad tracks? Later, a story about the heavy-duty equipment that keeps the trains running.
The flanders are your first line of maintenance more so than defense, because they pull the snow out from between the rails and throw it outside the rails. And then your spreaders come along and actually clean up after them, pushing it off. If the snowfall or a slide or the wind or whatever builds up drifts, that's when it gets to where the flanger and the spreader can't get through it. That's when you start thinking about rotaries.
Later on Sunday Stories, a train crew's rescue by the Rotary. Plus, aviation careers take flight at Sacramento City College. A conservation and wildlife-friendly rice farm. A program uses the arts to give students a voice. and food truck Slightly Skewed's Asian-style street food. As the self-proclaimed Chief Happiness Officer, Edwin Adebri founded the Happy Neighborhood and the I Am Happy projects. His purpose is to inspire and encourage people to reach their full potential by practicing the art of happiness.
How are you? Now you ask me how I am. I am happy. It's an affirmation. But let me start with giving you a little background of how I became the Chief Happiness Officer. If somebody would have told me back in 2009 when this whole thing started that I would be where I am right now, I'm like, give me a break, you know? It was the height of the recession, and you can kind of tell people around you, their mood were down, people were scared. And so I came out of meditation, which is one form of art, and I was feeling really happy. And I just went outside. I knew I couldn't do anything about the global meltdown, but I could do something about one person.
Edwin Adebri decided instead of just offering a friendly hello, he would begin to track each person's level of happiness by asking the question, how happy are you today, on a scale of 1 to 10?
When we look at happiness as an emotion, which is what traditionally we have been taught, then you are powerless about it. It's nebulous, you know? And I'm like, no, the human brain is way more powerful than that. So what if we look at happiness as a skill? So what we start to understand is this: if we move it just from pure emotion and say, okay, these are skills you can learn now. And even if you have to take baby steps, you can become good at it if you put the time and the effort, and if somebody come in and mentor you and coach you. So that's really what we are doing.
In 2009, Edwin launched the I Am Happy Project, an organization that focuses on spreading the art of happiness. His strategy: create monthly I Am Happy meetup events, along with school presentations, festivals, happy journals, dancing, laughing yoga, creating, and all things happy.
I truly believe that art and happiness are synonymous. Because, you know, when people get into any kind of art form, it brings joy. And I think it's more the process. Even though they already imagine the outcome, they never know what the finished product is going to be. Sometimes it's an art form that we have forgotten, but you can learn it, you know, and you can learn it again, and it can totally have impact on your life. When people are happy, they tend to be more creative. And so they create all kinds of stuff, even if they have nothing in their mind in the beginning. So the art of happiness is just pure human endeavor. We are in 64 cities in 19 countries. So we have places like New Delhi, and Cairo right now has the largest membership of I Am Happy Project. We have over 7,000 people who are engaged with the I Am Happy Project in Cairo. We have I Am Happy Project in Cape Town in South Africa. We have in Brazil. We have in Mexico. We have in Canada. We have in Nigeria. We are in Europe, you know, whether it's London, Paris, Rome. You know, I mean, it's just exciting, all the different places that we are. And to know that we are connected with one mission, which is to spread happiness one person at a time.
In 2012, the United Nations passed a resolution making March 20th the International Day of Happiness around the world.
I hope everybody finds their happiness. Yeah.
So we've been very fortunate, you know, the whole project, I Am Happy Project, recognized at the United Nations, but when it actually happened, it was very humbling experience. And then, of course, invited to do a TED Talk, you know, on happiness. That was also great in the process. So the I Am Happy Project was the first organization. Then in 2015, I came across a study that was conducted by Harvard Business Review, that happy businesses attract 37% more customers. So that's when I started the Happy Neighborhood Project for the purpose of going into businesses and creating a culture of happiness in the workplace. My goal is not to even convince people. Okay, my goal is to remind people. And yes, there are times people look at me with a glazed face. And I know in the general sense, most people will not look at art and happiness as the same. But for somebody like myself that's focused totally on happiness for these last 7 or 8 years, I see them as one and the same. You're gonna find out that you can change your mood. but don't expect it to happen overnight. You have to be patient. Just like you said, creating a piece of art. You don't even know what the outcome is going to be, but diligently you are working on it every single day. You're pouring your sweat into it, your life into it, and then all of a sudden, the end product, people go, wow, how did that come about? I think happiness is just like that. Life is going to throw me a curveball. I have a way to receive that curveball and throw it back to life and still be happy. So find out, what is it that you really like to do? What kind of piece of art speaks to you? Is it painting? Is it drawing? Is it singing? Is it dancing? Is it photography? Is it creating? Whatever it is that speaks to you, embrace it. Use it as a tool to bring yourself to that level of happiness that you deserve. How are you? I am happy.
Later, Sacramento City Colleges aviation and aeronautic training programs. But first, Betty Williams, president of the Greater Sacramento NAACP, shares her perspectives on her role as a leader and connector, and her views on being a change agent for the community.
Sacramento's NAACP President Betty Williams is busy, hard at work inside the local chapter office in Oak Park, meeting with members of the community she loves. A longtime stalwart for civil rights, Betty has also served as the leader of the American Civil Liberties Union, the first African American to head the ACLU in the Capital Region.
Good to see you, Betty.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thrilled to be here with you. What an honor.
Actually, it's my honor because I've never been asked to do anything like this before, so thank you.
Really?
No, I have not.
I wonder why.
Probably I work too much.
How would you describe yourself? What would that be?
That would be the person, the liaison, the connector, the individuals that I'm helping as far as answering what they don't know, but they're trying to get to the next level. They're trying to get that next job or better education or grow their business or start a business or understanding how to fill out a ballot. Those are all connecting. And so they just need a trusted messenger to connect the dots. A lot of people think it's just law enforcement, but we cover the gamut. The civil rights, the housing, the employment, all the injustices for whatever that is.
How did you become a leader in standing up for what is right?
When I hear that question, I reflect on my fourth grade teacher because she said something in front of me. She said, you know what, Betty, she doesn't want to lead, but she's a natural leader.
Oh, I love that.
That's probably why I love serving my community so much, whether it's ACLU or NAACP. I get the most joy and sometimes the heartache because you can't win them all. So the ones I don't win, I take to bed, but the ones I do win, I take to joy. And so...
Oh, I like that. Take to joy.
And there's always one of the two. Our top two issues every day, all day, is education and criminal justice. Sometimes they take turns being number one for the month. When I turn on the news and I hear a shooting, everything stops in my house. And I hold my breath on, is it Sacramento first and foremost? And is it another unarmed individual, an unarmed black man, brown man that's been shot? And so, for example, when Stefan was shot, we understand the streets was full and people were going on the freeways, but my first call was to Chief Hahn, and we discussed next steps. He actually implemented a lot of the things that the NAACP had.
That benefits everybody.
That's right.
Every human being.
That's right. That's what we are. We're change agents, and that's what we should be doing, making change for the entire community.
And you're working at a 30,000 foot level with your feet on the ground. It's like you have the big picture and you're doing the work. And I wonder how you manage to stay so even-keeled.
Probably because I have to. My clients are always in crisis, and I can't afford to be any other way.
What on your heart must be shared right now in this moment to be fully present?
Knowledge needs to be shared in the pockets where it's not. Everyone needs the opportunity and the equity to get the same results. And that's all.
A fair hand.
A fair hand, a fair hand. Give us that equity, give us that equal playing ground, and we can do wonders with the opportunity. That's all I want, and that's what I want to continue to fight for until the day I die. If I have the voice, if I'm being empowered to be at the table that will help my community, then that's where I want to be. Don't sit me at a table for a simple kumbaya meeting. You will find I will never come back. But if there's true results, and it's a result-given type of meeting, you'll see me back, and my community will be rewarded for it.
Sacramento International Airport, 11 o'clock, E120, 5,000, do you have in sight?
Air traffic controllers may spend their careers with their eyes in the sky, but they start their training on the ground in programs like this one at Sacramento City College.
Because you don't know that UPS is going to see Coast Guard.
We're one of the few programs in the state. In fact, Sacramento City College is the only aviation program in the northern part of the state.
So I've been flying literally my whole entire life. I remember being an unaccompanied minor and being perfectly fine going on the plane by myself. Do you have an insight?
Alexis Ford Beckham already has a bachelor's degree in history, but enrolled in the community college's air traffic control program to learn a different skill set.
It's something that you don't learn when you're younger, so it's all new information. And it's something that I just drive myself to wanting to know more about it, because not a lot of people do know. Runway 16 right, or 10 right?
The goal of this program is for the students to come out of here and become controllers.
Instructor Sean Tenner teaches his students everything they need to know in order to be accepted to and pass the FAA Academy. Once they pass the FAA's rigorous standards, he says they're on a solid career path.
It's a great job. I did it for 27 years and retired at age 46. I've been asked over the years, what makes a person a good candidate to be a controller? And my answer has always been someone who can make very quick, common sense decisions and multitask.
Sacramento City College is one of the oldest community colleges in the state, with a long history tied to aviation and aeronautics.
Back in the 30s, preparing in the run-up to World War II, there were very specific needs in the community, and the aeronautics program was created to respond as the nation was preparing for war. So the program evolved to meet the needs then and has continued to evolve right into the current day.
Those current day programs include air traffic control, aircraft maintenance, flight technology, and aircraft dispatch.
The aircraft dispatcher program, the best job in aviation that no one knows about. And then look at the Sacramento NOTAMs.
Students in Tom Berg's aircraft dispatch class can go on to earn a 1-year certificate or a 2-year degree that will prepare them to pass an FAA exam.
An aircraft dispatcher is responsible for all of the pre-flight planning, so that person has a lot of responsibility before the flight. They're also the airline representative that is in constant contact with the flight.
Pilots taxiing Sierra on taxiway. I've always been interested in aviation. I used to wait for my mom at the airport, and it kind of seemed like it has life there, you know. Everybody had a purpose, everybody was going somewhere.
AOL Abra is a native of Ethiopia who initially wanted to be a pilot, but flying lessons were too expensive, so he instead turned to dispatch.
Dispatcher is really interesting. It just, you're always doing something. You're not like It's not like a boring office job, you know, you're always doing something.
So the terminal approach radar is out of service.
No matter how challenging the course can be at times, students can rest assured they're in good hands.
At the end of this course, the FAA will send an examiner here to give their practical exams. In 8 years, we've only had 2 students that didn't pass on the first try. So it's a pretty good program.
What's the problem with Oakland?
As the industry continues to evolve, the close relationship that our faculty have with people in the industry, we will be prepared to help train students for the needs of the industry moving forward.
Later, the past, present, and future of Relles Florist. Each year between April and August, they dot our region, the flooded fields where rice is grown. 95% of California's rice is produced in the Sacramento Valley. Our next story takes us to Monta Rice Farm just south of Yuba City. That's where they specialize in premium short grain specialty rice and are dedicated to environmental conservation and sustainability.
Today we're harvesting a field of medium grain, and we're right in the middle of a 150-acre field right now that we hope to finish today.
The fall rice harvest is in full swing just north of Sacramento, California. Al Monta and his daughter Nicole Monta Van Vleck have a decision to make. The moisture level in the rice is a little high, so they may need to wait to complete the harvest.
Because of that, maybe coming back Saturday or maybe through the weekend to Monday.
What might seem like a minor detail can have a larger impact on their bottom line. Higher moisture means longer drying time for the rice, and that translates into higher costs and less profit. It's the kind of decision that requires gut instinct and a keen knowledge of their crop, handed down from generation to generation.
Monta Farms has been in this region since the late 1850s. My grandfather was a French immigrant. It was a farm laborer and became a walnut and tree farmer. And he had 7 children, and one of those was my father. And he became the first rice grower in the family in the 1930s. And that heritage has now come to me and to my family.
Preserving that heritage has prompted Al to focus on the future. Environmental efforts like new solar panels save energy in running the farm's huge drying facilities. And the family has made a commitment to protecting the wildlife that shares their fields.
I think the thing we're most proud of, I'm personally most proud of, is our commitment that we've made to waterfowl and migratory birds. Because I've seen the great success story of this region going from some birds to now, and at times, hundreds of thousands of birds in this region.
What's in the field here today are white-faced ibis, and when I came to the ranch, I never saw them. Very, very rarely. Now they're here in colonies. They're hard to move off. I'll send the dog or the kids off sometimes to see if we can move them along, and they just move to the next check. They really enjoy it here.
You came back to the farm 20 years ago, and essentially around the same time that the birds started coming back, right?
Yeah. Well, these especially. This species in particular has seemed to really flourish in the last 20 years.
Farmers flood the rice fields after harvest to break down the remaining rice straw. Those fields provide food for birds. That has attracted the attention and support of environmental organizations like the Nature Conservancy and Audubon Society. It also brings out bird watchers to catch a glimpse of rare and beautiful wild birds.
Rice fields have largely replaced traditional wetlands in California. We've lost more than 90% of the original wetlands in our state. So rice fields now operate as surrogate wetlands to more than 200 wildlife species. Millions of ducks and geese and many other species that utilize the flyway rely on rice fields for food and a resting place.
A severe statewide drought has meant reduced water flow to farmers like the Montas. This year, the family isn't able to grow rice on a third of their ground due to the cutbacks. Historically, agriculture in California has used 80% of the state's water supply. And as usage across the state is scrutinized, farmers are forced to demonstrate the benefits of their usage beyond the harvested crop.
We are providing jobs, and jobs in these communities where rice is grown is so vital, because in counties up here like Sutter County, Yuba County, which is next door, Colusa County up the street, Butte County, rice is almost 50% of the economy. Those towns would be hit very, very severely, those little towns that are dotted up and down Highway 99 and I-5, by the lack of a rice crop. Beyond that, this habitat value. In a normal year, if you have 300 of the 500,000 acres flooded for the ducks and geese, that provides food for those ducks and geese, 60% of their food. They would run out of food in a normal year in January. If we don't have water this winter for the ducks and geese to help decompose the straw, it doesn't provide the habitat, it doesn't provide the food. So they're gonna run out of food even sooner, which makes them, the viability of the flyway puts that in question without enough water.
As Al Montna hands the farm management to the next generation, the family's environmental effort is a large part of ensuring their success.
The reins are being passed to Nicole as we speak. She runs this company, and I'm very proud to be the coach. And her sister's also involved. I drive up and down these roads and I point out to my family, you see that family's name on that street sign? You see that one? They're gone. And we're hopefully not going to have that happen to our family operation. It's almost impossible to describe the pride that we have about the legacy of passing this on.
I have a business that I work in with beauty. We're helping people express their feelings with flowers. Every emotion there is, whether it's life or death, love, graduations, anything that people feel we're involved in. I'm Jim Relles, president of Relles Florist. It was founded by my father, Ross Relles Sr., in October 1946. Sacramento has always been home, and it's been wonderful to our family.
From the beginning, it's been a family affair. All of Ross Sr.'s kids worked in the flower shop at one time or another. Today, Jim carries on his father's legacy. He runs the business with help from his sister, Joanne. There's also a third generation working in the shop, Jim's kids, Alicia and Colby. Alicia takes care of the social media and marketing side, while Colby helps his father order and purchase the flowers. He also oversees deliveries.
In most cases, we're just getting it from these local guys, we just get one pack.
Okay.
Okay.
Working with my father can be trying at times. We sometimes don't see eye to eye on things, but he's been working at this business for 50 years, so he knows a lot more than I do, and sometimes I just need to, stop, shut my mouth.
That's probably about what we're getting today.
Yeah.
This supplier, and then Nevi.
I do admire my dad. He still works 12 hours to 16 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week, and that was hard, not having him at home as much as a kid, but it also gave me incredible respect for his work ethic.
Away! I'm 70 years old. I want to start slowing down and let them run the business, the day-to-day operation.
Hey Colby, are we getting any tulips today?
Yeah, we should be getting some this afternoon.
Okay, and are there any lilies with that? This is a very unique beast in terms of the way it works, and there are so many parts that are, instinct to my dad, but for both my brother and I are things that we'll have to learn and take on.
It's not going to be easy to keep it going. I think Kobe and Alicia both know they've got to really step it up and take the bull by its horns. So that's what I'm trying to instill in them.
Stepping it up is something Jim had to learn almost overnight when the family's foundation was shaken to its core on January 15th, 1972.
I was with my father in the shop on a Saturday, and he had a massive heart attack. He died. We had 1 month before Valentine's Day, the biggest flower day of the floral industry. What are we going to do?
The family was suddenly faced with the tough choice of what to do with their father's business.
If you're in a business, you grieve, but then you got to move forward.
It was decided Jim and his older brother Tom would take over the reins.
We had some knowledge of what to do, but now the learning is going to begin. Every family member came in and helped us, and we all pitched in, and we got through Valentine's. We changed our lives a lot, but maybe this all goes back to the family. That family is so important to us. We had this great opportunity also to expand it and to keep the business going. As challenging as it is, I'm really having a lot of fun. Some people say, well, you're nuts, Jim. Why are you doing all this? Why are you working so hard? Well, I have to say, I enjoy it. I guess I enjoy a challenge.
For the Relleses, holidays continue to be the busiest and most challenging time of year.
Hi, Jim.
Okay.
Thank you
very
very
good.
much.
You only have one chance, and you don't want to screw it up.
It's a team effort between Jim's family and their staff.
So good morning, everybody. Today, historically, is our busiest day with people calling. We have a real core bunch of people that have been with us for a long time. They're very important to running this business.
Thank you for calling Relles Florist.
On this Mother's Day, orders are taken,
Thank you for calling Relles Florist. This is Ben.
flowers are processed, bouquets are assembled, and deliveries go out.
Everybody has to work together, and everybody has to do their best for the consumer, because that's what the business is all about, is, helping your customer and being there for them when they need you. We did the flowers for the grandparents, we did the flowers for the parents, and now we're doing the flowers for the children. It's priceless. We've had customers come back and tell us, oh, your dad, did our wedding. And your dad did the flowers for my parents. Hopefully we can pass that on to my kids, and they can say that somebody someday, 50 years from now, can say, gee, I remember when, your dad did my parents' wedding flowers. That would be wonderful for me.
The thing I care the most about is this brand and this business. And, I hope to be taking it to the next step with the third generation.
I want to immerse myself in this business and do everything I can to make it successful.
For now, Jim will keep opening the shop each morning like he's been doing since his father's passing.
Many people that grew up with him, I remember so many of them coming in and saying, your dad would be so proud of what you guys have done here and how successful you've been. It's just beyond words, really. I mean, it's just so wonderful. It's a really great feeling.
Still ahead, the business and story behind local food truck Slightly Skewed. But first, let's head to Livermore High School, where students are making their voices heard about the issues that are important to them through the Student Voices campaign. That's a statewide creative video competition.
The Student Voices campaign was created by the California Alliance for Arts Education to speak to the need for arts for all students in every classroom every day. It was a means of giving students a voice to say, this is why we need the arts. Now, what will be the focus of the cameras during the ceramics class?
Carol Hovey is the drama director at Livermore High School. She's checking in today with a group of students who are working on a 2-minute video for the Student Voices campaign.
Our video for the Student Voices campaign is about how there are so many different art types and so many different ways people can express their art through sculpting, photography, filming, that all of them should be included for everybody to feel like they have a voice in this.
Most of the time we've been working on storyboarding it or just brainstorming just on big sheets of paper and just jotting down ideas and figuring out a story and what would be best for it.
If all of the quotes together are more than 2 minutes, then you guys may have to look back through the quotes and find shorter quotes.
The video is a true collaboration, with drama students writing the script and recording the voiceovers, and film students like Harley turning it into a reality.
They'll show us a little picture of what they want us to do. We're like, okay, we know exactly how to make this happen. We'll get like some close-up shots. We're filming what their vision is, and then we go back and edit. We show them our footage. They're basically our bosses.
They learn how to collaborate, they learn how to communicate, they learn how to express creativity, they learn critical thinking skills, they learn problem solving. So it's an invaluable process.
What if I said you can change the world by making a video? And that video is about your voice.
The Student Voices campaign launched in 2014 as a creative way to give students a voice in school budget discussions. Students from schools all across California submit about 200 videos each year, all of which are judged by professionals, with the winners announced in the spring. Every video that's created by students is also submitted to their school boards.
We've had some wonderful issues raised by students at the Student Voices campaign. One of our outstanding videos was a video submitted by San Jose Unified School District students about trans and non-binary students at the school.
Gender-neutral restrooms should be readily available in our schools. Let's help our trans and non-binary friends.
And the outcome of that video was that the school board put in 2 new restrooms for trans and non-binary students to use during their school day.
Livermore High School students have participated in the video campaign since the beginning, advocating to their school board to keep arts classes at their school.
Art is pretty much the first classes that they cut from any budget of schools. So if they see how important it is to students and how it really gets our creative minds going, I think it's very important for the community and the school to understand that.
I believe that our voices should be heard as students because they are oftentimes not heard as well as adults or teachers because they think that we are too young or naive to understand what we should be.
Carol Hovey says she's mindful to act only as a guide and observer during the filmmaking process, ensuring that the video really does reflect the student viewpoint.
I really try not to butt in. I really try just to let them find their voice because, as I remind myself, it's not my voice. I talk enough. They need to find their voice.
I feel like they're a little sibling and they always have my back. Plus, we share so many common interests, it's never boring to go to rehearsal.
The Student Voices campaign also introduces students to advocacy, some of which have never heard of this in their daily life or understand that that actually can make a difference.
Arts have some power. Do you want to go out and ask other people what they think?
Although the Livermore High student video didn't win top honors, it was a finalist. Perhaps more important, it conveyed a powerful message to the Livermore School Board and community about how important art classes are to these young people.
Art is not just for the art people. It can also be for sports people to come in and express themselves that way. It gives everybody an outlet to express themselves freely.
Arts matter to people, and arts have a lot of power. They can empower people, they can change lives. Arts can do a lot of things for people.
Hello, I'm Rob Jong. I'm the owner and operator of Slightly Skewed. We're a food truck operating out of Sacramento here.
I went to culinary school in Portland, Oregon at Oregon Culinary Institute and learned a few things to help us crank out some good food. So when we were looking to get into the food industry, we were looking at our different options, and we thought a truck would be a better fit for us over a restaurant. We're able to keep a little bit of a smaller crew. We're able to kind of focus in on our menu a little bit more. We're very much a customer service oriented business. We have somebody that's outside taking your orders to kind of be able to chat with you about the meal. Some of the mainstays on our menu right now are Korean based, but we try to take a Pan-Asian approach to it and try to not stick too close into any one category. Helps us keep variety on the menu and keep things interesting for the customers.
I love this truck. They come by every week, and they always offer something that's healthy but also really delicious. I can get the Brussels sprouts or the bok choy they have, or if I want something a little bit more savory, I'll go with the pork bellies.
Hey, I'm really fortunate to be working with such a sterling associate as my dad.
Working with my son has been a real eye-opener. As father and son, we have a certain relationship, but once we're on the truck, he's the boss. And that's been a learning experience for me and a humbling one. And also, it gives me confidence that to see a side of him that you don't see at home.
The hardest thing for us in starting a new business is creating a customer base momentum. We're a mobile business, so we're hardly at the same spot within the same week. So getting people to know where we're at and buy into the business enough to care about where we're at is probably the hardest thing for us. Food truck industry is definitely blowing up in Sacramento. We're on multiple lists as one of the cities that's the industry is growing the most. It seems to be exploding to the point where it's just as viable as a restaurant business. The most satisfying aspect of this is really just feeding people. That's why I got into the food industry, is I really like taking care of people.
Today's excerpt from story recalls a snowy day in March 2011 after a record snowfall, when the special rotary snowplow was called into action to help rescue a trapped train crew and reopen a major rail line in the Sierras.
The 2010 winter was productive. We didn't really have any bad days. Then you flash forward to 2011, and right off the bat, that weather just made it really clear it wanted to kill you.
Last 2 weeks of March 2011, we had approximately 15 feet of snow on the ground at Norden. We had a weather report that was coming in that next week we were going to get anywhere from 5 to 6 feet of snow, which came out on Mr. Pechner's report.
If you look at the day the first snow fell in March, on March 5th through the 27th, that's about a 20-day period, we had 190 inches of snow for March, which is double the average annual snowfall for that whole month. It was probably some of the strongest snows that we've seen in the High Sierra in almost a quarter of a century.
Not only did we get 5 or 6 feet of snow, but we had winds up on the peaks that were close to 100 miles an hour. So we had a lot of drifting snow on top of that 5 to 6 feet of snow.
Snowfall on the Sierra Nevada is some of the heaviest snowfall that affects interstate commerce in the United States. It's unique because it's generally very wet.
With the type of snow that is on the Sierra Nevadas, the equipment that we use has to be a heavier duty than would be normal because of what we call our Sierra cement. It's a lot heavier in water content, and it requires some heavy-duty equipment to get it out of there.
People that are going up on the highway
they see the snow plows and stuff, they never think about what it takes to keep the snow off the railroad tracks.
When the nose hits the tunnel, raise the blade. And then as you exit the tunnel, wait until you get at least the lead unit out, then you can drop.
The flangers are your first line of maintenance more so than defense, because they pull the snow out from between the rails and throw it outside the rails. And then your spreaders come along and actually clean up after them, pushing it off. If the snowfall or a slide or the wind or whatever builds up drifts, that's when it gets to where the flanger and the spreader can't get through it, that's when you start thinking about rotaries.
The last thing they want to do is lose a track and have to bring a rotary up there. That's a major, that's a major job to break out a rotary and get it up there.
If it gets to the point of using those, we're out of alternatives to open the line or keep it clear. The rotaries themselves are a very unique piece of machinery that have a very unique function.
It has a sound that everybody knows in Roseville. Growing up here as a kid, when you heard that steam whistle, you knew the rotaries were getting ready to go out of town. It was a sound that you could hear all over Roseville, and there's no other sound like it.
Rotary 209 was built in 1929, and Rotary 211 was built in 1937, one of the very last two rotaries built for Southern Pacific. The key parts of the rotary are first and foremost the blades that cut the snow. These can go in either direction depending on which direction you want to throw the snow.
You look at right here in the center, it has some little fins sticking out. That's to really get in there and grab the good stuff.
That then takes the snow into the fan, which is a cone shape in the modern rotaries, that will then shoot the snow out through the top and out of the right-of-way to 150 feet away. Steam is used in the rotaries to keep everything thawed out, to keep it free and moving.
Yes, it's impressive.
I just remember the days that when I was younger, thinking of them as some type of a hero, going over the mountain to save Donner Pass.
I live here in Roseville, and when I hear the rotaries start up and they're blowing the steam whistles and stuff, it kind of does something to you. And you spend most of your life working on that stuff, and yeah, you miss it for the first few years.
V604, over.
604, go ahead, over.
Yeah, guys, how's it look on coming out of that balloon track for you, over?
We are out and on eastward number 1 at this time. We're getting ready to proceed, over.
Okay, watch for our lights then, over.
Thanks, 604 out.
Well, it was one of those days that you really enjoy because it was a fairly close to a daylight call. I think we were on duty about 5 or 5:30. And we mounted up and got going pretty quickly. I think the most important thing at that time of the morning was to make sure we had coffee and some extra food. I've lived in upstate New York and Ohio on Lake Erie, and I've never seen snow like that. That thick, that heavy, that wet, and coming down so hard that you literally lost point of reference out there. It was pretty close to a whiteout.
V604, how's it look on coming out of that balloon track for you, over?
We are out and on eastward number 1 at this time. Need over.
That guy behind you said he's got about a half a mile of pretty heavy snow to plow. Do we want to get too far ahead of him, or want to head on there, over?
Yeah, we're going to head on there.
Okay, and Mo said stay in it, over.
Said stay in it, okay. Copy.
Every time you would come around a corner, especially coming through some of the tunnels around Yuba Gap, you'd come around and you would hit a cornice that was starting to mound up on the east side or the west side of the tunnel, and you'd hit it and it would blind you for about 10 or 15 seconds. We came up to the other side of the bridge for Shed 10 there at 178, and we could barely see the bridge. We couldn't make out the signal. It was just snowing so hard you couldn't see anything. It was white out. Slowed down to go across the switch points in the frog there on the west side of Shed 10. We're a little bit blinded because we had a big snow dump on us coming in the west side. And as we came around the east side, I throttled out, made sure I was going as fast as I could safely go. And the next thing you knew, poof.
Truckee, snow 604.
Lyric on the UP 604, over.
604.
Go ahead, over.
All right, talk to me here. What happened? You got buried by a drift or an avalanche or something, over?
Was that an avalanche on the mountain, over?
It's buried, over. We're going to have to go out the side window to get out, over. Can't go out the back door there, over? Buried.
74604, everyone okay, over?
Sat there for a second, gather our wits. I was pretty happy that we didn't blow a window out, debris came in, anything like that. We didn't lose any windows, which I thought was a real fortunate thing. The one thing we noticed when we came to a stop was that I was sitting a little bit higher on the right side, and I think we were probably on my side, on the engineer's side, about maybe 10 inches off the rail vertical. The conductor's side wheels were still on the rail, but we were planted. We weren't going to move anywhere.
Avalanche up top. Just to let you know, my engineer is qualified on the rotary, over.
Well, yesterday was the anticipation of the rotaries being called out. Today is the reality.
The avalanche happened on March 24th in the mid to late evening, and I didn't get notified until about 2:30 in the morning Friday when my assistant Leo Marin was trying to tear my door down at my house because my phone was apparently on silent.
It's crunch time. It's a very critical time here for us to get these rotaries up there, get the crews up there, and get this mountain open.
There's nowhere to put it anymore. It's time for the rotaries.
So the heroes are called on duty. Fire them up, fire up the boilers, get them ready because we're going to take on the mountain.
Fire in the hole!
Clear through the derail. I'll stop you when we get past it. All right, I know these things are in good shape, but we're going to give it a walk around just so we can see how our equipment is. Get familiar with it. We don't do this often. It's been since '98 since we've had it out actually plowing. I've been in Southern California for 2 weeks, and I just came in last night when they called and says we're going to go. So we'll go up with a rotary, throw as much off as possible. We'll plow all the way to Truckee. Get water in the rotary and then come back out tomorrow morning.
finally departed Roseville and got on the move, you know, I think reality set in that we're about to do some things that, you know, had not been done in quite a while. And it was really being done in an emergency. I mean, there was no other way to get this task accomplished but with this equipment.
If we go down, who's going to help us? You know, we're it.
It was scary in a way because we were going into an area where there's no way to get to you if something happened.
To watch the full story, go to kvie.org/Sunday Stories or download the free PBS video app. I'm Michael Sanford. It's been a pleasure being part of your Sunday. We hope you've enjoyed today's stories and that you'll be back next time for another episode of Sunday Stories. Until then, have a great week.